Good evening. I got hungry. I didn't have dinner, I realized, so I'm making myself mandu. But because it's raining, look who I let come outside. Okay, Vesper and Patty Whackers. They're getting a chance to come outside, and hopefully they'll be inspired to some growth. You know, let whatever God's in charge of the light and the lightning and whatever. Zeus? Maybe Zeus will give some good vibes, make her grow up, like Hercules strong, you know? We'll see. But I am watching a documentary. I ate vegetables earlier. I was watching a documentary earlier, or I'm watching a documentary right now about LIGO and how they detected gravitational waves, and I love, it's so good so far, but it's kind of a bummer that the first thing they thought of when they discovered it was that it was fake, like that they've been hacked. But then it was really cool though, well, that just shows fear-driven behavior, but it was really cool to have them, all the creativity that they got into, all the plot lines and things and possibilities of how someone could have hacked them. It was so cool. And then they had stuff that coincidentally lined up in real life that could have fed into that idea. So awesome, so awesome. Because they interviewed one of the workers, who's like, oh yeah, coincidentally the same group of workers were at the place, at the LIGO detection facilities at the same time. Maybe they're trying to sabotage us. Like, they're so hardcore into, like, keeping it secret and, like, almost, like, espionage-esque kind of thing. Like, don't mess with this data. Like, don't distort it, because then you're going to ruin a huge scientific discovery, and humanity desperately needs a scientific discovery right now to boost morale. So I can understand why they, had it so, they were so cautious with it. Because they recognize, right, because they're about to make some extraordinary claims in the fields of science and our understanding of the universe. And so, yeah, I could see why they took the cautions they did. But that reminds me, I can tell some stories involving that. Because, I mean, gravitational waves, guys, like how they detected it was the merger of two black holes. So what essentially occurred was, like, think about a toilet. Right? There was like a cosmic flush. That's what you would call a cosmic flush. God went to the bathroom, and what we detected was the merger of that cosmic flush. And the way that the gravitational waves propagate is through the space-time. What is defined as space-time, right? Because like space and like empty space, whatever, this right here, there's stuff there that exists that we can't necessarily interact with. It's something inert, and it's something invisible to the human eye. And so, at least in certain cognitive capacities, because people that, like, for instance, if you, actually, it's really funny because this LIGO documentary that they released, it really invokes psychedelic, trippy vibes. And some of the graphics that they're doing, when they're showing the gravitational waves and all the colors and the sounds, it's like they're trying to almost invoke a state of, like, awe and wonder that is incurred from like a psychedelic trip type vibe. So very, very clever marketing as far as that goes. But anyways, detecting gravitational waves though, it's possible because space-time itself is flowing, it's moving. Think about it like just like a river, like flowing. Okay, space-time isn't stagnant, it flows, but then if the rate of flow is at a constant where we can't perceive it, or you can't perceive the change or the contrast, then you'll never be able to perceive that it's flowing. And the way it's inert, right? You got to think about it. And that LIGO thing did a brilliant job talking about it, because actually I'm not even done watching it all the way. I'm only like 10 minutes in, so maybe I should save it to see what happens, or what they say. Because I'm aware of what happens. Like, they got the Nobel Prize for it, yada, yada, yada. But one of the things they said was, like, they first ran through they wanted to prove the impossible was not possible. That was the first thing they wanted to do to make sure that the data was accurate. And they proved it all. Like they got the proof they needed, which was cool. Hold on, I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah. So with that in mind, right, you got to think about quantumly, where superposition, every probability and possibility exists. And you can apply it to every situation that is currently experienced with that. And so, well, I'm getting off track. The reason we can't detect space-time is because we're not designing the experiments properly in order to perceive it or detect it. And so the reason for that is space-time, right? What the molecule that we can't all perceive and go through. Everything exists as a wave. We have wave-power duality already been established. That means that there exists a configuration and orientation where what is defined as space-time is doing complete, I would say like pure destructive interference where it completely cancels out. And so because of that, it would appear inert. And think about like if you like turned a photon inside out and made it like a cyclical loop, like a donut, a torus shape. And if you think about that, then like all the electromagnetic spectrum will be on external on like a ring, like a donut, going around like toroidal movement pattern. And so that photon though, if it's in a cyclical loop, a circle, instead of going straight and it's made into a loop, you can perceive easily how a photonic loop would can exist in a certain stable configuration that is so inert and so invisible, inert to tangible reality, and that's why it's hard for us to detect it. So anyways, if you think about the probability and possibilities of that existing, yes, you have to admit, science must admit that the probability and possibility does exist for that configuration to exist if applied to what is defined as a photon. And that could potentially maybe explain what is commonly referred to as space-time. But, 6-7, I'm going to try to keep it at that video. 6-7.